Hi, ArcfieldWeather.com meteorologist Paul Dorian here on Monday morning, November 21st. A very chilly morning here in the Mid-Atlantic region and indeed throughout much of the eastern part of the nation. Near record or even record cold in many spots in the eastern part of the nation. That continues a trend that saw many low temperature records set last week and this past week, and we'll show a few maps from Saturday morning, Sunday morning, and this morning from coolweather.com that pinpoints where those near records or record lows fell. Again, it was a nationwide cold air outbreak, and there were records set really from coast to coast over the past several days. In addition, of course, there was the intense Great Lakes snow event that lived up to expectations in and around Buffalo, in and around Watertown, New York, and the western part of New York State. Just some massive amounts of snow. The highest totals I saw this morning from the extended event that began several days ago and didn't end until this weekend was about 80 inches at Orchard Park. That's just to the south of Buffalo, where the Bills normally play their games. They were pushed to play in Detroit yesterday, but about 80 inches of snow in Orchard Park. And Watertown ended up with more than 5 feet of snow, unofficially the second biggest snow event for Watertown in recorded history. This was not quite at the very end. Orchard Park again ending up with about 80 inches of snow, but in and around Buffalo, in and around Watertown, just massive amount of snow, and all that as a result of a long time period with west to southwest winds over Lake Erie right here and Lake Ontario right there, and that is the perfect setup for places like Buffalo and Watertown and all those surrounding areas in those two parts of western New York. And again, this was a long duration of event, and they'll be digging out for many, many days in that part of New York State. Well, now getting back to that nationwide cold air outbreak, again, it was one of the coldest weeks you'll ever see across the nation in the middle part of November, and the impressive part of it was the extent, the real estate involved here, virtually from coast to coast. This is the map from Saturday morning of record lows or near record lows from the coolweather.com website. Just notice here, all the way from northwest coastal western U.S. all the way into the eastern states, there were some records or near record lows. Again, this is Saturday morning. Let's now go to Sunday morning. And here is Sunday morning, and again, extending from all the way from the west coast into the eastern part of the nation. The focus yesterday morning was across the Midwest, the Ohio Valley, down into the central part of the south central part of the nation with, again, near record or record low temperatures. And finally, this morning, Monday morning, shifted a little bit to the eastern third of the nation with many record lows or near record lows, but again, still maintaining very cold conditions for this time of the year in the interior west and out across California as well as of Monday morning. And I didn't even show Wednesday and Thursday of last week or Friday, and they also included numerous near record or record lows. Again, one of the coldest weeks you'll ever see across the continental U.S. for the middle part of November. Well, let's focus in on the upcoming possibilities, and there's indeed a storm threat in the eastern part of the nation for the end of the week into the upcoming week, and somewhere in that Friday, Saturday, Sunday time frame. The models are all over the place, and we'll just kind of talk about the focus of attention over the next couple of days will be the upper air pattern. That will dictate exactly what happens at the end of the week going into the upcoming weekend. This is the ensemble run of the Canadian model from yesterday morning, Sunday morning. I want to show you that compared to last night's model run. Completely different, not only with the Canadian model, with the GFS model as well. We'll show that as well, but these are the ensemble runs. Again, this is from Sunday morning's run for this coming Friday morning. Notice, strong upper level low sitting in the eastern part of the nation, a ridge popping up across the western part of the nation, and a deep upper level low around that 50 degrees benchmark area, 50-degree north latitude, 50-degree west longitude. But again, very amplified pattern here from yesterday morning's Canadian ensemble run. But look what happens for the same time period, Friday morning, November 25th, from the morning run to the evening run. A completely different look here in the eastern part of the nation. Kind of holds back a upper level low across the south central states. Nothing in terms of that eastern U.S. upper level low. There is a ridge popping up still over the west, but a completely different look from yesterday morning to last night's Canadian model run. Now let's take a look at the GFS. And again, this is the ensemble run, in this case of the GFS, from Sunday morning for Friday morning's forecast. And it too has an upper level low situated in the east, not quite as strong or as amplified as the Canadian ensemble run, but it does also have that strong ridge out in the west, strong low, upper level low here over about 50 degrees north, 50 degrees west. This was the run from yesterday morning, and look at what happens from yesterday morning to last night. It keeps that upper level low weaker, farther to the south and west. No sign of a deep upper level low in the east. And again, that's from last night's run. So two models, the Canadian model and the GFS, really throw a monkey wrench into the forecast for the end of the week, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Still would say there's a chance for a strong storm in the eastern U.S. late this week into the upcoming weekend, but certainly nothing is set in stone, and we'll just have to monitor the situation over the next couple of days. It's certainly a reasonable solution here to not coalesce into a deep upper level low in the eastern part of the nation and kind of maintain a separate system farther to the south and west. That certainly is on the table, so it's just something we'll have to monitor over the next 24 to 48 hours or so. That's it for now. For ArcfieldWeather.com, I'm meteorologist Paul Dorian.